Hello, friends. Welcome back. I think, yes, welcome back to Comfy Org Thingy Majing Dongs. I don't know what this one's called. We're just kind of winging it right now. We have new branding, we have API nodes, we have a lot to talk about today. We're here to talk to you about it. And yes, we have syntax diffusion, we have Yoland, and we have me, Pers, and there will probably be some more characters popping in and out. But yeah, today's a big day for Comfy. How excited are you, Yoland?
Uh, I'm very tired.
I
That's
bet.
yeah. I don't feel anything anymore.
Oh, well, I mean, let's talk about it. We got API nodes now across the board. All the closed models that we didn't have access to in Comfy are now available to anyone who wants to play with them. Right in Comfy, mix them and match them with your local models. It's not here to replace the local models. We're just giving you access to everything. So, yeah, if you have questions, you have concerns, questions, answers, all that stuff, hit us up in the chat and we'll bring up the question and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Hi, Pers and SD. Hello. Hello from Los Angeles. Hello. Wow, look at this crew. Yes, look at us. Also, you might notice things are a little different around here. The branding changed.
That's actually really sick. How'd you do that? It's actually
uh,
sometimes extremely shocking to me how you guys pull all of this together. I like
I made this
I
in Blender 15 minutes before the stream.
oh, amazing. Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah, there were times like I go on Twitter and then I see there's like a comfy stream. I was like, oh, which company is doing this? And then I click, oh, I was like, wait, it's our own stream. Wow, it looks so professional.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what
that's
we're here for, man. But
that's
yeah,
amazing.
welcome everybody. Welcome JoviX. Welcome Cosmic. Welcome Peter. Yeah, come on, filter in. We're all just gonna hang out and play with these new nodes and talk about some of the cool stuff you can do in Comfy with and without the nodes. And yeah, let us know what you think about the new colors, the new fonts, the new branding. I personally really like it. But people are divided amongst everything in the planet, especially AI. So, we're expecting you to come at us, but it's all good. We can take it. What's up, Chris? I didn't even say hi. Chris Syntax Diffusion has been on many of my streams. He's a well-known artist in the Comfy community, and I will stop introducing him so he can introduce himself.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for having me. I've been using Comfy almost since day one. So yeah, I use it in pretty much all of my workflows. Even getting into this API node stuff, there's a lot of times when I really like mixing all the tools, and I think my art really much reflects that. But yeah, I'm excited to be able to kind of you know move forward, having everything in one place, as opposed to doing it on the actual platforms and then going back to Comfy and then going back to the platform. And excited to see what we can squash all into one workflow.
Yeah. And sneakily under the wire, our friend Julian Midjourney Man snuck in. How's it going, buddy?
Hello, everybody. Sorry for being a couple minutes late. Glad to be here, though.
Unacceptable. You have to generate 15 images as punishment.
Oh, gladly. With an API node, that's a rule.
Yeah, you have to use the API nodes.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely don't use the API node for punishment generation.
have you been playing with the API nodes, MJ?
I just was able to install the latest update, and I literally just did a test generation with Kling and came out perfectly. Beautiful.
Amazing. Yeah, wicked. Yeah, so just to explain it a little better, basically, Comfy has negotiated deals with all these API companies, all the companies that provide API endpoints, to provide one central place for you to just put your credits and then use all the models as many as we possibly can. We did this because the costs of doing it yourself are actually kind of LOL. So as a provider, we're able to sort of bridge the gap there. And Yolan can speak on this more. I don't want to speak for him, but essentially the idea is just to give access to everyone, no matter how you want to come at this. The end point I'm trying to make is GPU just costs money, no matter what you do. If it's your own local machine, if it's somewhere else, you're buying credits, you're doing something. We're just trying to streamline that, make it easy for you to have a place to do it all yourself. But yeah, please, Yolan, please elaborate.
Yeah, that was very well said. I feel like I need to take notes from how you're explaining this to the rest of the community. I'm not too deep in the technical world right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like in general, it's very interesting actually. This project, to give you guys the background, I think for some of you guys have the context. It all came along after ChatGPT 4.0 model dropped. And the story was that we were in Shanghai, like we were literally on the day flying to Shanghai when it dropped. At the beginning, I was like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, very nice model, blah blah blah. Can't wait for the open source version to come out." And then, like, I think the rest of it was like the model taking the entire internet by storm. And I think that was kind of a moment for us to realize one is we need to like Comfy need to keep on evolving. Like Comfy needs to kind of keep on pushing ahead forward. There are a lot of the areas within Comfy workflows that now it's gradually getting kind of done by a single iteration of a model. And yeah, which is totally fine because as the model gets better, your modular tasks gets better and better. But the amount of tasks you do with workflow increases and scales along with the workflow. And in that world, how can we kind of keep on pushing Comfy through this kind of boundary and evolving to the next iteration of the user interface? That was the kind of the question that came up. And we've kind of realized that for the long time, we're going to have this back and forth between, like the closed source model, open source model. And we want to embrace that, essentially. I think prior to this, Comfy kind of represented the open source champion or the platform to embrace all of the open source model. But then after like 4.0, we kind of realized like it's going to be a cat and mouse chase for a long time. And we just want Comfy to be a platform that people can do anything they want. And historically, there has been a lot of people asking like, hey, can we have 4.0? Can we have all of these like random image models inside Comfy for pure convenience? And that was the moment we kind of decided like, hey, let's actually like, try to embrace that, support this, and then see how it goes. We actually, I would generally recommend people to go for whatever is the most convenient, cheapest version of behavior or product for you. If you're getting these things for free elsewhere, yeah, don't spend a dime. Just bring them into Comfy, like get somewhere else for free, bring it in here, work, use those assets as the input for your open source model and your complex workflows overall. But if it is, more convenient for you to directly get it into Comfy, yeah, I think that's the case scenario. We're actually here to solve a user problem as opposed to, I think some people are speculating like, oh, this is like the Comfy org's way to monetize. It's like actually, yeah, like we're mostly just charging the the market rate over here. And as Pers mentioned, we sometimes, for almost all of the providers have negotiated kind of a some amount of discount in here so that essentially we can cover the transaction and then we'll keep charging everyone the normal rate. And then the funny part was that we actually probably can charge even less because we have the discount, but we're not allowed to. Because or else other people will be like, the model provider will be like, oh well, you can't make the users realize like they can get the APIs for cheaper on the Comfy platform than our own platform, and
Right.
that will kind of sabotage their own effort of distribution. So yeah, in the end, we charge the normal amount and then pocket the difference in here.
Yeah. No, it's good, but I mean, it also means we can bring more stuff like this to everybody, and you know,
Yeah, I'm very excited
it's
to see like
it's good.
where people like can take this, or if it does go anywhere. Yeah, I am very curious overall.
Well, I mean, there isn't anyone on stage right now between me, Chris, and MJ that doesn't use both open and closed source tools as part of our workflows. Like, it's always about the best tool for the job, and if the best tool for the job isn't, if the weights aren't out, you know, I'm willing to pay for the quality to get the thing done, if it's the tool I need, and I think there's a lot of people in that boat as well. So yeah, it's important just to note that this is not like a method for like monetizing existing nodes or anything like that. This is strictly just to provide access to stuff that you might have access to. The other thing I wanted to mention was literal accessibility. Like, now there's so much you can do on a MacBook with Comfy, with these API nodes. Like, because there are, you know, some of the services are actually really, really, really cheap. Like some of the image generation services, if you go like, you know, to the smaller resolutions and stuff, and you just want to fool around, like you can get it down to like pennies and stuff per generation. So it's a great way to like explore these models on your hardware that may not be capable. AMD, Macs, yeah, all that stuff, and phone. You know, like if you're crazy enough to try to get Comfy, using Comfy on your iPad or something, you know, you can
I've
do
seen
that.
a
But
few people with like phone. Actually, funny enough, Comfy Anonymous himself constantly go around and then just like he will go to some random event and then try to show people Comfy. And then
you
he'll
just
put
have it
on his
running
phone.
on a
He would just
web
have on his
browser.
phone,
Yeah.
and then like obviously SSH into. And then people are like, "What the fuck? Like, why are you showing me this tiny UI desktop UI on a small mobile phone? You have to drag your thing around to the other end of the canvas to show the result." Yeah,
It's like the worst possible way to show it off. It's great.
there are a few people. I think there's someone on Twitter that constantly every iteration is just like, "Are you guys gonna support mobile?" I'm just like, what? Like,
Yeah,
where is that
absolutely.
coming from? Yeah.
So you want to make nodes on the bus?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rohith says it's 3 a.m. Where are you streaming from? I am in Canada, and these guys are in the States. Yeah, North America. I'm glad the closed source guys are creating a discount to support the community. Yeah, you could look at it that way.
Yeah. For us, we just don't want to lose money on it. That's why.
Yeah.
It's more important than that in that case.
Ramon says, yo.
Yo, Ramon.
Hi, Ramon.
Ronnie says, yes, the API updates and easy as cake install make Comfy on a Mac a no-brainer. Yeah, I think it's definitely the exciting times for Mac users. You finally get some cool stuff you can run, like, because all the design tools already run really good on the Mac. So you just, if you're just generating stuff, this is a great way to just use Comfy as sort of like an asset generation system and just use the credits. I think I cut you off there, MJ. Were you saying something?
Yeah, that's the point that you and I were talking about the other day, is the ability to basically use your Mac to do these things. It's kind of exciting.
Mm-hmm.
And using all these tools in one workflow to just get one output that's pretty much final in one go, which is cool. I'm making one right now as we speak. So just to try to show.
I mean, yeah, that being said, like, you don't even need a GPU. You could use your Mac. Correct. And just use Comfy as like your editing studio.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, now the funny thing is actually on Mac, some of the lower requirement like SD, Excel based models, animative, all of those actually runs slower, or I guess like less efficient comparing to the API nodes, which is unfortunate. I think like I wish there's someone out there doing like API endpoint for all of the last gen of the models, but people are still very passionate and happy to use them. especially for Mac users. But yeah, right now we're like all tapped into pretty much the latest state of the art type of models for these API nodes.
You heard it here, folks. Start up a Warp Fusion endpoint and you'll make millions. I would use it. I'm not gonna lie.
I kind of miss that style.
Yeah, I would definitely use it.
I'm seeing Alex in his post sometimes. I'm like, man, I miss that style.
Yeah.
Did you say you're
wonder
working
what
on one?
Warp Fusion.
Sorry, did you say you're working on something right now, MJ?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to. I'm doing a little proof of concept using two of the API nodes like that have nothing to do with each other. And
Do you want to share your screen while we take questions?
Yeah. Once it's I guess I can just wing it and just
Yeah, go
share
ahead and share it and just show us how you're building it. Because
Oh, it's
basically, if you
extremely
have all
simple
you have to
too.
do is update Comfy. Actually, no. You know what I'll do first is just show you. I'll just show everybody real quick, sort of how to access your stuff and log in and all that stuff. So, sorry, give me 2 seconds here. I think that's my screen. Yeah. So after you update Comfy, actually, let me kill it and bring it up, and it should actually bring up the little. So after you update Comfy to the latest version and start it over, it's going to give you this little dialog box in the bottom right over here. It's going to tell you exactly how to log into the API system, set up your account, drop some cash in the account, and start using the nodes. And then all the nodes are just in API node, like the API node subfolder thing here. You can see them all here, image and video. There are so many. Ideogram, OpenAI, Kling, BFL, Luma, Recraft, Stability, and for video, Minimax, VO, Kling, Luma, Pixverse, and Pika. So, pick your poison, literally. Lots and lots of options here. Lots of different workflow API nodes inside these folders too. So do explore the folders because there's, stuff like Kling lip sync, sync with audio or sync with text, et cetera, et cetera. Dive in. Screw around. But yeah, you'll see this little this thing up at the top here, and if you hit click, it'll say like log in or sign up, and then that's where you sign up. I just use my Google account, whatever, and then top up your account with some credits, and then the API nodes just use this balance to use the stuff. It's literally 2 or 3 steps. So yeah, MJ, I will pass it off to you.
Yes, let me share my screen. It's still computing right now anyways, but I will still show like the concept.
Nice.
So I load this image that I made in Flux previously, put it as an input through this OpenAI GPT-1 model, put a little prompt, turn this into an anime style, and then I do a preview. So I get to see, as you can see, it's pretty cool. I get to see like the result of the input image before I run it into Kling, which, by the way, Pers mentioned this last time, and it's a good one. The first time you do this, it may be better to, first of all, not randomize the seed, fix the seed, so that the first time you get an image, if you like the image, and you can actually, it won't regenerate the first image every time you run this because you want to check the image, and then you can bypass this node too. Once you like the image here, then you can enable this node, and then this is the Kling image to video, and I'm putting this image as an input. Also, what's cool, and I like this is such a little comfy touch here, is all the things that I'm used to see on Kling are their own little node here. So the camera controls are a camera control, like a node, and then you get to program actually even more. I like this. It gives even more control than Kling itself, I would say, because Kling is presets.
Oh
And
yeah,
here,
so you actually get the set values here.
Yeah, which is cool. And so, yeah, anyways, I put in my camera control, my image here from OpenAI. As you can see, it's cool. Like OpenAI and Kling in the same workflow, like Chris said. It's like an editing station here, all in one at this point. And when this is done, we'll see the result. It's been computing. So I will let you guys know when this is done.
Yeah, it's
This
a
is
perfect
one I did
example
earlier.
of mixing 2 different things. You're mixing Open AI Image 1 and Kling, and you're using Bypass as a iteration switch, which is something I definitely recommend doing just in general in Comfy. You fix the seed, you bypass the big boy node that's going to take forever, or lots of credits. And then when you have the piece you like, you unbypass that last node, like MJ said, and then fire it. And because it's the same seed and all the settings are the same, the Comfy
Yep.
pipe's just going to walk all the way back to exactly where it was and just continue on. So that's a great tip.
And I forgot my camera was off, so your favorite Frenchman is back. Yeah, so obviously, like, it's the difference is like we're used to have like the progress bar. Now it's done on, like on the cloud, so we don't really see what's going on. So we just have to be patient.
Yeah,
But,
and Cling takes a while, even
Yeah, Cling
on their
definitely takes
service.
a
So
decent amount of time.
yeah, it just is
Some
what it
of
is.
the progress bar is there. I think Pika is supported.
Mhm.
The progress bar is very dependent on how good the
the API.
the APIs are and whether they tell you the progress or not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something I'm sure will come with time, because that's new and exciting.
Yeah, caching
let's-
in terms of this kind of executing part of the graph and then move on to the other part. This is definitely an area that we're going to fix in terms of partial execution. There's a lot of upcoming features I think like will benefit a lot for just general use case for folks. Yeah, I think to be able to iteratively, like, Comfy has this kind of dual identity as both a canvas where you can iterate content and then move on and then create another graph and then compare the two pieces of content, or chain them up and then or like take the output from previous iteration, move on to the next. And then Comfy also has this pipeline type of benefit, which is you create a workflow graph and then you can run that as a automation pipeline. And under that kind of context, I think Comfy is doing fairly well on the pipeline process, but not as well on the iteration canvas type of environment. You really want to empower people to be like, hey, I just want to run the first portion of this graph. Doesn't even people shouldn't even need to learn how to bypass things. Just a button is already there, or you group node all of them together to say like, hey, this is a functional sub portion of a graph I want to run, and then be able to trigger it, get the results, and then move on to the rest. And then if you want to, the seed control shouldn't be within the individual node. It should be kind of upon triggering, like it will rerun like a different seed. If I'm not triggering, then I just continue to use the cache.
That makes sense.
And it generated, by the way. Sorry, just showing you. And you can see I set the zoom to 2.3, and it's actually doing just that. It's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool.
And I literally did this as we were talking. So making this like, I have some ideas. I'm going to cook something soon. I think I was mentioning it to you guys. And I will build something using masks and everything. And I will combine all these tools and start from nothing and end up with something hopefully kind of crazy and complex, and all using API nodes and Comfy to put this together. So I'm going to start working on this week. Hopefully I can show it next week or something.
That's great. Yeah, Cling is a great video model, and it's awesome to have access to it here. I haven't used anything that quite touches it yet, open source, but we're getting close. We're getting close. There's some really, really good open source stuff too. It's really about how much time you want to spend. But I'm going to jump into some of these questions here because we have a lot of questions. So we got still waiting for, Misha says, still waiting for an LLM to build me a complete Comfy workflow. I've seen a few people doing this. This is a thing for real. I forget who, but please, if you know in the chat, type it in, because there are people on this wavelength very hard. GPT and Claude both understand JSON workflows, like they get it. So not only creating your own custom nodes, but creating workflows, creating custom nodes, and then using them in workflows. All things Claude and GPT can handle. So if you want to go down that rabbit hole, please do, because it's a fun one.
Yolan, do you remember his name? I forgot his name, but there is a guy. We saw him live. He has trained. You know what I'm saying. He has trained.
Wait, there's so
Autocomplete.
many. I actually don't know which one.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. Like you can tab, and then you get the next node predicted, and so
Yeah.
some things are being done. It's coming.
Yeah. I mean, even before, and now there's MCP, and there's even more kind of potential of supporting that. I think there's. I'm actually gonna go chronologically on like the ones that I remember. One is we actually did a little bit of a test on our own end to try to train them, fine tune or train or just like give enough context window for a LLM model. I think this was like maybe a year and a half ago, to be able to generate Comfy workflow. The difficulty for JSON in general for LLM, and especially for Comfy type of structure, is like those of you who like looked into the JSON format itself, like how Comfy or like the entire light graph side of things define the connection is through these IDs. So you really have this like cross-reference, really far away or really random connection type of thing that goes from like, oh, ID 35 and the output input is like whatever, these kind of different component. And in that way, LLMs, because they're trained and broken down things into like a token structure, it just makes it really hard for the LLM to interpret and understand and reproduce kind of the connection. Instead, actually, if we were to transpile, Comfy into these type of like there's this thing called Mermaid JS that basically describes an entire graph in a more programming style, or like transcribed it anything, and transcribed into a I think there's like a Comfy script type of solution, or just like a whole bunch of brackets, like, hey, this goes into like this, and that here's the output type of description. All of a sudden you actually get like a lot higher quality, at least that's back then. And then there are people doing like all sorts of research paper. There's Comfy Gen, there's like I think a few paper that came out, and then most recently I think it's the Comfy Copilot. It's this team within Alibaba in China that did this project to literally using LLM and MCP to generate Comfy workflows. Eventually, I mean, there's so many things on our task list, and there's just a bottomless feature list on for us. But eventually, we would love to bring this live in a local LLM that does very comprehensive features in terms of like, hey, I would like to generate workflow, edit workflow, and make changes to things I like or things I don't like or whatnot. Will LightGraph stay canvas based? Yes. So far, LightGraph actually has been fairly performative by being canvas based. Yeah. Sorry, I digressed. Please, any other questions that on the
that's
queue?
great. Let's see. Are we able to create workflows similar to something we might create and use for the open models? For instance, can I call up a model in the loader? Okay, so the models are closed. The APIs provide access to their models. So we can't sort of mix and match the community models with the closed models. But what we can do is process stuff with our community models and then process that stuff with the closed models and then go back and forth with that. But it's not like I can take a Flux LoRa and jam it into Cling or anything like that, because the architectures are often like completely different. I mean, you can't even put a dev LoRa into a Rationale model. So, well, I mean, you can, but it looks like crap. The point is, it doesn't really open the communication in that way, but it opens the workflow path for you to process things and then go back and forth between the open and closed models, like you do now with the web interface, but like way more streamlined. Like, you know how it is when you go download the file, go find it from your downloads folder. Oh no, it's 2 meg. It's like it only takes files that are 2 megabytes, et cetera, et cetera. With Comfy, you just throw an imagery sizer in there, you get it to the size you need, and you move on. Like there's something to be said about the the speed at which you can iterate. Keep up the great work. This looks like only the beginning. Thanks, Ramon. I'll take credit. I didn't do anything.
It's all pers.
Cosmic says this update is what finally got me to the desktop app versus the web version. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Mad Butter, what's up, buddy? To run third-party GPT-1 image node so I could use my own key, which is pasted in visible text field. I had to change security settings on Manager, then verify myself with OpenAI by scanning my passport and my face before it worked. So this is a little easier. Yeah, this is a little easier than all that. Are you sure you were talking to someone legit, or did you just scan your passport for some scammer in some other country?
He was talking to me. I was also asking for,
I'd like your
blood
passport, please.
His first child.
The rest of that was this complexity of managing multiple subs is ridiculous. So this move by Comfy is genius. Thanks, Butter. Go follow Butter, by the way. If you guys don't follow Mad Butter, AI Art Today on Twitter is a really great hang. Really good place to find out about new artists working in the field and like new technology, and see what people are up to. It's fun. Cosmic Crafter would like to borrow a credit card. Fresh out, buddy. Sorry. Can you mix local nodes with API nodes, or strictly lock to API nodes while using them? No, you can absolutely. So like, that's a bit of a loaded question. Inputs and outputs go into anything, right? So if your node makes something, you can then put that thing in the thing. But can I plug control net into Cling? No, it doesn't really work like that. Cling, there's no input for that. Cling didn't go to school for that. So
I'm most excited for like the image and video editing nodes. Like I just push that node pack, which has that, and like that'll save me like 3 or 4 steps.
Amazing. Caching makes Comfy the true powerhouse. Yeah.
Very true.
Shiro says boo. Hi, Shiro. I know you from the Discord. Does the login serve any other purpose or perks other than accessing the API of these tools? Yeah, well, we have access to all the files on your hard drive now, so we'll be just going through all that and training. I'm just kidding. No,
we
selectively
just for only take your porn images.
Yeah.
Like we don't.
We
want
need it for
videos.
training. It's it has nothing to do with your security or your identity. We're just hard up for pictures. But in all honesty, no. The login is simply just to access the API backend and update your credits and check your balance and talk to the API nodes on that capacity. We don't collect that anything and do anything with it. It's all good. What do we got here? ComfyUI on Mac has been notoriously painful, but this morning I used the standalone installer and it was laughably easy. Nice one. Ronnie, also a fantastic artist. Go follow Ronnie. Just love all the stuff that Ronnie does. Our community is insane, by the way. I mean, you can follow anyone on here. They're probably making something wild. I could have sworn I saw Make It Rad here somewhere.
He was here.
I saw Make It Rad. Yeah.
There he is. Meow. What's up, Make It Rad? We'll have you on the stream very soon, sir.
Yeah.
You are a wealth of knowledge and fun.
Make It Rad gotta tell us what next project he's working on.
Mm-hmm.
Very much looking forward to that.
Midnight says Cling is like 9B, if I recall correctly. They must have optimized the heck out of that. I don't know if that's true. If it is, holy cow. It's pretty good for 9B.
Yeah. It's also surprisingly slow so far for our testing. So I actually have no idea what is the actual model size, or maybe they're just rate limited.
Avenzi says, "Oh no, I thought the new logo was a prank." Gotcha. It isn't.
Oh, here comes the logo.
Juan is pretty good. I agree. I quite like Juan. It's more than pretty good. Grok has built JSON workflows for me. They actually almost worked, says Joe Sparks. Yeah, I know. I've used Claude to like tie together stuff with Comfy's API. It's really good at that. Like looking at a JSON and being like, what do I need to plug into this to make like a web app, stuff like that. Again, like LLMs do understand JSON, but everything Johan said about the complexity of like where the noodles go, the LLM gets a little confused when it's just, numbered connections in a long file because of the context and all that. Can we send latent? No, we can send images and stuff like that, but a lot of them just don't take latent input in any real capacity, so we can't. Even if we gave it to them, they wouldn't be able to do anything with it. Got it. At least the back and forth is closer. Yeah. And like Yoland was saying, we'll have Comfy Clippy soon enough. It's like, looks like you're trying to generate pictures of fox girls. It wasn't me. I missed that one. Oh, who do we blame for the IKEA logo? I like it. I don't think it's an IKEA logo.
I think it's
it looks cool.
Holy shit.
But now that you mentioned
No,
it, the
you
colors,
mentioned
okay, I
that.
get it. Yeah, but no, honestly, I actually really like it. So I don't know.
That is hilarious.
Who doesn't like IKEA?
I haven't seen the IKEA one yet. That's good.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. I've never heard this one until right
Yeah,
now.
so
And
now
then the
that's-
Me
moment I
neither.
saw it, I was like, oh
Can't
shit.
be unseen now.
Whoopsie doozles.
It's like
That's 75% of my hard drive, though. Yeah, I know. Rad says I'm here. Hi, Rad. Yeah, we'll get you on here soon enough. Any news on Flux 2 or Flux Video? I'm asking your friends. So I was in San Francisco and they told me everything. And then they used one of those little Men in Black things and shot me in the eyes with it. And now I don't remember like what I got in school and stuff. So
that's an amazing answer. Holy shit.
That's why my right eye is not working anymore.
yeah, that's why I look all bug-eyed right now. We didn't get
Yeah, I
any
need that gun
we didn't
to-
get any inside scoops or anything, but I will tell you those guys are super fun to hang out with. Very nice squadron of fellows working on that I met. And I only got to speak to a few of the people on the Germany side, but everyone was very warm and smart and fun to talk to. So I only expect bigger and better things from BFL in the future. Yeah. That was my non-answer. Did you love it? There we go. I actually like the new logo. Yeah, I like that. All right, cool.
It's
Yeah.
gonna grow on you. It's like the BMW M3 grill. You have to get used to it.
Nisha says, how come the recent Comfy updates have been having lots of issues? Seems to destroy many custom nodes and workflow connections. Yolan can speak more to you on about this,
Yeah.
but in the efforts of streamlining and security, there have been choices made and everyone's catching up. That's the short answer.
Yeah, I think on the custom node side of things, we are iterating a lot on some of the upcoming features, which I mean, like I don't even need to like hide any of the upcoming stuff, given everything is out in the open. We're working on subgraph. We're working on some of the additional integrations we can have, resolving some of the dependency issues once for all. A lot of these will have requirements on kind of fundamentally changing some of the underneath the hood logic when it comes to front end or custom node backend. I think the most recent breakage in terms of the front end nodes is I think it just has a lot to do with, for example, the front end extensions hooking to part of logic that no one is aware. Like Comfy doesn't really on the front end side doesn't have really APIs, or now it does actually. Like HCL and other team members added a few things in here and there, but overall to accomplish, for example, what RG3 use everywhere type of features, the developers on the custom node end really have to hook into some wild logic, and that is just a lot of times very hard to manage when we're updating and pushing things aggressively on our end. Yeah, I would say at the core, the team basically have to make a trade-off of our own development of pushing company to a clean and nice place over the long run versus, kind of some amount of instability when it comes to updating. But so far, I would say, like, yeah, especially for a larger set of setbacks when it comes to breaking custom nodes, we absolutely kind of roll back on our end to say, like, oh wait, just kidding. Like the reroute, our own end of native reroute is actually not necessarily like ready yet to completely replace everything. Let's roll back and then gradually move forward with it. On some of the smaller end of the issues, we do see sometimes we actually just override it and then wait for kind of updates from developers, custom node developers or end users to resolve these issues. One thing I will vouch for over here, if folks have the ability to kind of set up a separate instance or a desktop build that you're just mostly using for like testing frontier set of changes, please use the kind of the front end tags to use essentially the beta version of the front end, and then report any issues to us if you see any. That will help both yourself in the future and the rest of the ecosystem tremendously, because we basically use that as a early warning mechanism to kind of report back to the both the developers and also the custom node developers on, hey, here are the problems. So yeah, if you can check out the front end repo, figure out how to set up the beta version of the front end, will be much appreciated.
Yeah, we can maybe look at that at one of the more chill streams one of the days, just like how you guys, maybe we'll do a stream on how you guys can help.
Actually,
one thing that's super. Sorry, go ahead.
Go.
I was just gonna say one thing. One thing that always confused me was making issues. Like what do I put into it? So maybe we should do a thing on like what to log and how to log an error, because a lot of stuff just gets farted into the wind. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, that's definitely an area. Like I think that because of the devs are so used to GitHub, it's actually very daunting as a system for anyone else to kind of like, oh my god, like what do I say? What do I write? Like anything seems wrong.
Paste your log file perfectly, no mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, going back to I do think like this stream made me realize there's a lot actually on the dev side we can initiate to kind of communicate with the rest of the ecosystem. Like, hey, here's the process we develop features. Here's the process we surface information. And then hopefully build better kind of communication and heads up with the rest of the ecosystem.
Definitely. All right, what else we got here? Palm would like to know when Foxgirl logo.
Foxgirl logo has always been the unofficial logo for the Comfy organization.
You can just change the icon for any app in Windows. You just right click on it.
It's never going away.
What is the difference between Comfy and Florafauna? Comfy is a tool, and Florafauna is a service that uses tools like Comfy in parallel. So if you want access to the guts, use Comfy. If you just want to make stuff in your browser, Flora is fine. But yeah, like Comfy is like the garden in which all the tools grow and work. So if you really want to get into the guts, I can't recommend Comfy enough. If you haven't, you should check out Clown Shark Batwings Node Pack Res for Life. It's full of cool samplers I've never seen in Comfy before. They give incredible results. You are not the first person to mention this to me. Several people have mentioned this to me on the Discord, so we will dive into this at one point.
Add it to the list.
And yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Tell me about stuff like this that is just going right over my head, because there's way too many things and you guys are right on the bleeding edge. So this sounds really fun. I'll check it out. The results I saw look really good. I don't know much about it, but I will absolutely check it out. And please keep giving me suggestions like this. Fantastic.
Yeah, we need to create a channel on the Discord server to have ideas of what we can cover on the stream.
Yeah, if people
Yeah.
want to see specific things, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Jovic says you build workflows like furniture. Fully
Oh,
agree,
God.
buddy. Fully agree.
Especially the one that you get at IKEA, apparently.
One wobbly leg will screw the whole shaboobia. Peter says now I can't unsee IKEA. I know, me neither, but it's
Yeah,
I
okay.
like it. It's going to be
It's
the
fine.
running joke.
I don't know, man. I still like it.
that is so funny.
Advise on hardware gear to run Comfy or Gen AI in general. NVIDIA RTX card. If you want to do anything locally, you need an NVIDIA RTX card. 2060 plus. More VRAM, better than higher speed if you want to do more things. More VRAM means you can do more stuff. Faster speed means you need less patience to do the stuff. That's the trade-off. And then everything else is API nodes and closed source models and offloaded compute. You can rent GPUs on any computer with RunPod, VAST, all them things. Run Comfy on them. Some of them have shared hard drive space. There's options for any computer you have, basically. But if you want to run local stuff, it's got to be NVIDIA. It's got to be RTX. Probably at least a 2060. Get the most VRAM you can afford and don't worry about the speed. Yeah, that was my advice for getting into this stuff. But yeah, if an NVIDIA GPU, if you can't decide between a GPU and like a used car, because that's sort of where it's at right now, I totally understand. And there are options where you can rent like 3090s, I think, for like 25 cents, 26 cents an hour. So yeah, there's ways to play. Yeah, and we'll do some more streams about setting up Comfy on cloud services and stuff, because like that's super helpful for people who just don't have access to the GPUs.
What is the chat planning on doing with these nodes? Curious to see.
I don't know. Let's find out. Was it updates doing it? I've had my entire Comfy break every couple of days lately and needing to be rebuilt, and I haven't been able to figure out what's doing it. Then it's you, buddy. It's you that's doing it. This is the nature of Comfy. My Comfy's like this. This is the dependency fight that is trying all the latest stuff. So if you installed any node pack that fought with any other node pack's dependencies, that's your problem right there. So, yeah, maybe it was related to Comfy updates, but it could be related to any other node pack that updated any other dependency that fought with any other dependency on any other node pack that's already been installed. So there is a house of cards there just waiting to unravel most of the time. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a now thing. It's just a Python environment thing. Pixel Pusher says, "Damn, so many Seeksy faces." I can't read that. I think he's trying to say. I think he's trying to call us cute. Thanks, Pixel Pusher. You're cute too, buddy. We'll be in San Francisco in a couple weeks for a Restream conference or upscale conference. So yeah, I'll be there with Pixel Pusher, and Midjourney Man will be there. And are you going to that thing, Yolan? That'd be cool.
No. I think two of the team members are going in, but I'm not.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, yeah, then we'll be around, and we'll be in SF. So if you guys want to get together and talk Comfy stuff, let us know. If your Comfy isn't broken, you're not using it correctly, that's accurate. That's accurate. Mad Butter request an OpenAI suite, add GPT Vision. Best tool for building large image prompts to match init image for captioning. Phil Nodes has a great version that uses environment variables for the API key. Yeah, that's the best way to do API keys. Aside from the login system, like not anything that isn't pasting them into the nodes is pretty much a-okay. But yeah, I can't say we'll look into it, but
Yeah, I can comment really quick. Yeah, one is we definitely do want to support adding your own custom key for things. In general, yeah, like even for environment management, like a variable solution, it's a little bit annoying. You have to go use, your command line to set these things up. We definitely just want a easy and secure way to get these done. And then yeah, hopefully that will be supported in the future. And then yeah, vision model as well, like more future versions of these type of models will be pretty helpful to add to these suites.
Yeah, and there'll probably be some open source thing that kicks its butt tomorrow anyway. I just wanted to say a quick goodbye to Syntax Fusion. He's got a dip. So thanks for coming out, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And you'll be doing a stream with MJ pretty soon, separate. That sort of got interrupted today by this news. So we're here for the news. But we'll be back with regular streams in the future. And Chris and MJ are going to do some cool stuff together. Would you say the 21st?
27th.
27th.
Yeah.
I can math. So yeah, 27th. And then yeah. So yeah, thanks, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me to hang out. See ya.
Absolutely.
See you, Chris.
I would say compared to the past, the casualties have been minimal. Yes. What?
I think it goes in regard of the dependencies.
Yeah, I assume it was a more recent. Updates.
Yeah. I think so too. My experience has been pretty good the last few months. I had one catastrophic thing, but that was kind of a stupid that I did. Like I kind of knew it might cause a problem, and then it did cause a problem. So yeah,
First, you know what my catastrophe was. God damn, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Sage attention.
Installing Sage Attention in Windows Triton is always a fun. Sure, I'll use Comfy. Sure, I'll use Arc ComfyUI. Yeah, we'll get Comfy on the Arc very soon. And then in 6 months, the render will be complete. I am building cloud deploys of Comfy with web front end. How will the Comfy user credits work in situations like this? You will be spending the credits in your account.
There is a problem right now in terms of login for if you're not using your own local host or use some of the more prominent kind of the providers with RunPod or like Modal. The reason is because we use kind of this authentication system that requires you to whitelist what are the kind of domain that can log into your system, so that people don't just freely using it to generate a whole bunch of accounts, all of that side of things. And so right now, if you're kind of going in from a random or like non-common domain, you might not be able to log in directly. But what we will add is the ability for you to extract key from your Comfy org account, essentially our end of API key. And then you can, along with the support for a API key management type of local system, that you can just paste the API key into your front end, nothing will get leaked, all of that. And then directly call, no matter where you are, whether you're running on some cloud deployment or whether you're running in a local instance.
Right on. Nico would like to know any updates on the subgraph development. I think it could be a huge leap once it's ready. It's been abandoned. I'm sorry, no more subgraphs.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that version.
Fully abandoned. It was a pipe dream.
First, I love it. Creating like little trails of questions.
I
like,
don't remember, Purse, if you remember. I don't know if you remember. Last year was actually around this time was the SALT conference. Holy shit.
I do remember.
Yeah.
And I just
Yeah,
screamed
you
at
were.
everyone for like 20 minutes about
Yeah.
subgraphs.
Yeah. We're talking about the front end features. You guys were jamming in the back, and then one part you just walked out. Subgraph, guys. Subgraph.
You
And
fucking subgraphs.
Yeah. A year later, we failed you. Well, it's coming. It's literally the next thing. No. Subgraph is not abandoned.
Yeah, no, it's well.
It is,
it's well in development. I'm super stoked.
Web filter, whom you probably have seen on our Discord on Git commits, is working extremely hard on this and is incredibly competent in terms of delivering this. Yeah, so coming soon, TM.
Right on. You mentioned RG3, which is almost required for any workflow at this point. Yeah, I guess depending on how you use Comfy, I can see that. Is there any plan to integrate any custom nodes and functionality into the core?
I think there are a few ways we can resolve a lot of these kind of dependency or conflicts problems. One is we can integrate them or upstream them into the core Comfy experience. And then the other is we can kind of provide better development experience for them to actually work well in terms of using the proper API calls, and we'll make sure the APIs are well maintained. I think we'll try both actually for some of the RG3 functionalities. We definitely would like to upstream them. For some of the more niche area of things, we can't, the Comfy core team can't upstream everything into core Comfy. It's just unrealistic. So in that world, we want to be able to provide the best kind of interface for the developers to directly tap into. And then going forward, if they're properly using all of these APIs or the way to communicate with the front end, there shouldn't be any degradation or any of the breaking changes will be probably very minimized because we got to guarantee the APIs are functioning correctly on our end.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm going to start reporting it is broken, no context or error codes. Yeah, that's the best way to do GitHub issues is just be like, it's broken, and then angry face and just no context whatsoever.
There's actually a built-in reporting on this now. Please use that because it actually allow you to automatically click and attach the logs if you're willing to share them, or error message if you're willing to share them, or workflow if you're willing to share them. If you want high priority evaluation of your errors, do share those, and then we'll actually be able to take a look and then try to reproduce and see what actually is wrong. And a lot of times, that's the nature of reporting on GitHub anyway. You're just dumping all of this information for the devs to test and figure out.
As a custom node builder, Ramon says, can anyone recommend tools or best practices for coding, building, and testing nodes real time? There is a node pack called Hot Reload, I think it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, install that. And then when you're working, if you load up Comfy in your VS Code as a project, as you're working on your node pack, every time you save, it's going to hot reload that node pack in Comfy, and you can just continue to work with it. Because if you don't do that, every time you make a change, you need to actually restart Comfy to see your changes made. Another thing I would say is stop using hot reload when you're not using it, because it does break some of the extended functionality, RG3, some of the other node packs, because it's like it's interrupting things that it needs to update and stuff. Tries to hot reload while it's still working and things like that. So, but yeah, it's really awesome for building out your own node packs because you save hours and hours and hours. When are we getting remote GPU API access?
Remote GPU API access. Wait, there are so many things in here.
I think they mean like when can I just like plug Comfy into a GPU and hit just wait for
I think
credits.
we always wanted to do this thing, which is support your like desktop to be able to like run something on the remote server. Soon, not soon TM on this one, I would say. Unfortunately, we are like very bounded by our development time right now.
Yeah, and also it's like running Comfy on an external GPU. It still requires running the entire environment on that computer. So it's not like you can just say, "Hey, do these tasks on a GPU." Like the computer that has the GPU and it has to have like Comfy on it, like set up with your environment and stuff. So there are just massive technical challenges to just saying like, because it seems easy. Like I'll just pay you. You do the GPU stuff. I'll do the CPU stuff. But you have to have the environment running on that machine, and that's expensive because the machine has to be running. Love the new logo, all the panels, and pers can talk less. Oh, you came to the wrong channel for that, my friend.
Golden voice.
If your Comfy isn't broken, you're not using it correctly. That's correct. We already saw that. I think we're a little behind here. What's your strategy for eating a large block of ice cream? No chew, just push.
I saw someone say make a milkshake. That was a good
Yeah,
entry for
that'll
that.
work. Triton is now easy to install on Windows. All right.
Big if true.
Shiro says the new logo is meh. You get a logo, then tell us how bad our logo is. Huh? You like that? My worst bork was when use everywhere borked. I had to reconnect a bunch of workflows, but I use KJ get and set now. It's a bit more manual, seems more robust.
I agree.
I've had this get set. I've
Yeah,
had this
yeah.
get set argument with many people.
With
I
me,
used to use
with
them.
me.
Yeah, used to use them. I think they're great. Variables in general are great. I would love to see some sort of internal like variable constant type system for Comfy. But as far as get set nodes go, I have opinions on that too. They're great when you're building out a beautiful looking workflow, but then tomorrow when you need to use that workflow, you're gonna be furious that you set up 1,000 get set nodes.
I mean,
because
I can basically talk about my own experience because Pers was losing his mind when he saw me using get set. It looked pretty. It was beautiful. It was for Salt, the Salt conference. Looks amazing. You don't see any spaghetti. And I tried to reuse a workflow. Let's say recently, workflow would not work. I was losing my mind. I gave up. Trash. Lost the workflow. So I'm not using that stuff anymore. I moved on.
Yeah, well, as a purpose, like as a tool, it's great. I actually really like the idea of teleport nodes and portal nodes, get set, all that stuff. Super duper handy, especially when you want like a less experienced user to look at the workflow, know where to put the files, know where to see things. There's just not a ton of spaghetti everywhere. 100% down on all that. The problem is I need that workflow to work a month later, and that's often not the case. And that's not the fault of the developers. It's just the way it is. Yeah, it's like the way it is. Wait, are subgraphs really abandoned? No, we were 100% kidding. They are fully not abandoned. Very much being worked on as we speak. Pers over here, breaking hearts and crushing dreams. That's my thing. That's my whole thing. Okay. Hey guys, I got a question. Why is it that 3D and sound are very neglected and Comfy? Please, when you think is going Hanyu on 2D is going to be fixed for texture. I remember Dev says that once Trellis is for Windows 2 going to be added, but Then it's going to be didn't happen because in my case on Linux, nothing works of custom nodes. I am on 50XX series. Yeah, I mean, 50 series is a problem because you need all the latest stuff to make anything work. Hunyuan 3D, if you want to dive into Kajai's node pack, he's already got the voxel, not voxel, triangulation. Yeah, textures and triangulate mesh triangularization. All that stuff's all set up. I guess we'll get to that with the native stuff, but the community tools exist to do all this stuff, and you can actually just drop the Hunyuan 3D 2 model right into that Kajai workflow, and it works right out of the box. I did it myself. It's awesome. So yeah, I feel you with the 50 series. You buy the latest model, you hope you can play with the latest toys, and then you find out some dependency requires like CUDA 12.6 or something, and you're totally screwed. But yeah, that's sort of the drawback of buying the latest cards. It was just like this with the 40 series, and it'll be like this with the 60 series.
Oh, wow, yeah.
The simple thing, but power LoRa loader is requirement on every workflow. Yeah, it's a good node. That is a good node. I send all my error messages to GPT. It rarely fixes them, but it responds instantly and at least always has a new idea. Yeah, and it's really confident too. It's always really confident. Work on a clean installation. Yeah. KJ set is laborious and annoying. UE is better. It's all the same, guys. Getting set nodes. It's all the same stuff. You're really gonna ride or die for node packs? I mean, I love it. But
I mean, the same thing. It's also religious in any other kind of. I think for Houdini, people are also kind of religious about get set nodes. Yeah, this is very thorny topic in any node-based software.
I feel it. Right on, guys. Well, I mean, I think we covered pretty much all the API stuff. We covered the new branding. We'll be back with more and more stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Friday, I believe we're back. And anything else that comes up, we're just going to pop up in your feed. So subscribe to the YouTube so you get the notifications. Join us over on the Discord. You can just at me or MJ or whatever if you have suggestions for now, and then we'll build a channel for it. But it's all good. We're all pretty approachable and chill. So let us know if there's anything you want us to cover that we're just completely ignoring, because there's so many things out there. It's hard to keep knowledge. Thanks to Chris for coming out, Syntax Fusion. Thanks, MJ. Thank you, Yoland. Got a lot of insight into the development process today. Super duper helpful for a lot of people who, don't really understand exactly what goes on behind the scenes at Comfy. So yeah, we'll be back real soon. Thanks everybody. Yeah, Comfy loves you. And yeah, if you don't like the new logo, that's too bad. It's too bad. We don't care.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye, everybody.